What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk a little bit about Project 007. Anytime we hear about this game, I get extremely excited, even though, to be honest, even including this, we don't know all that much, right? It's a lot of, kind of big phrases, like, this is going to be epic, and now we get talk, actually, of a trilogy, so that might actually be pretty big, but we don't have any, actual nitty-gritty details yet, but there is some coming, and that is also what we're here to talk about in this article. So basically, IGN did a sit down with IO Interactive CEO, and they talked about a couple different things, but obviously Project 007 was brought up. So the key highlights, right even in the beginning of it, say the production is going amazingly well and that the studio will have more details to show soon. And so he talks about kind of just like how big Bond is. He says it's a different IP, a huge IP, not theirs. It's actually the first IP that is not our original IP from ground up. You should count how many times he says the words IP. But what's exciting about this project is that we actually got to do an original story, so it's not a gamification of a movie. It's completely beginning and becoming a story, hopefully for a big trilogy out there in the future, and equally important and exciting, it's a new Bond. It's a Bond we built from the ground up for gamers. It's extremely exciting with all the tradition and all the history that there is together to work on this together with the family of creating a young Bond for gamers, a Bond that gamers can call their own and grow with. He says, I don't want to speak too big about it, but I just hope we'll do a thing that will define James Bond in gaming for years to come, and that it's not only one game, but that we create a universe for gamers to own for many years to come, that we can grow with that next to the Bond on the movies. And then finally, he says, I don't have an update today, but believe me, it's itching here as well to be talking about it soon. So we are following our plans. The production's going amazingly well, and we will soon be talking more about it. I know it was a little teaser, not a lot of info, but there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. We're also very excited, and when we are ready with that, we'll be opening up. So biggest thing, I guess maybe starting from the end and working backwards, obviously like it coming soon, right? Or news coming soon. Like this has been in the works for a while now. And look, I know my default is always like the Game Awards. Not every game can be shown off at the Game Awards, okay? That's very, it's something I think obvious, but it's something I just want to throw out there just in case I get accusations thrown at me. I understand not all of these games that seemingly would work for a Game Awards like presentation would actually be there. With that being said, I do think this game does make a lot of sense. And, they say soon. Now, soon could mean anything, right? So as soon 2 months from now, which is the Game Awards, is soon, February, March, April. Could it be at a PlayStation event, an Xbox event? We don't really know. But I would not imagine we get out of the first half of next year without actually seeing this game and kind of going forward with it, knowing some info. Again, more deep info. But, honestly, that interview gave us an okay amount. It's, what's interesting is I think there was either a rumor or it was just confirmed that the James Bond, the next Bond movies are also planning on being a trilogy, and it's going to be a young James Bond. And the way he worded growing with this character and then into the movies, whatever happened with the sentence there, kind of messy in terms of the I don't know, just how it was presented. I don't know if because he talks about it's not a movie made into a game, right? But at the same time, it sounds very much like is this Bond, this is a theory, is this Bond the same Bond as the next movie is going to have, right? Because they're still kind of looking for that actor, but they want to start the trilogy with younger, and then this is creating a Bond universe from the ground up. It sounds in that way that it's not, but also some of the other wording sounds like it could be. But for it to also be a trilogy, right? They want to start young, maybe start more origin story, and then grow it out and do a 3-game kind of arc to it. You got to stay in the moment. You got to have a good first game, because you can talk about a trilogy all you want, but if the first game is bad or it doesn't perform well, you might not get to that trilogy, right? But as I've even said on social media today, they are a match made in heaven. Honestly, above all else, and anything that we hear from them, the biggest confidence boost that I have is simply who they are and what they've made, right? I've said the story kind of before, so I'll keep it short. The Hitman games are very special. I was never really all that into them until somewhat recently. I would say the last 3, 4, 5 years. They are brilliant, especially even this last trilogy that we got. And Hitman 3, I think is honestly just phenomenal. So freaking good. I think they get it. And to know that they are translating, because Bond and the Hitman franchise are pretty close. You know what I mean? Like, I think Bond will have more set pieces, more like action heavy, but just more, not like a complete takeover. I really think a lot of what we know of the Hitman franchise is going to make its way over. And then with like, maybe just like speeding the pace up a little bit, having those big actiony moments, things like that. I really think, everybody talks about it going like a different genre. Everybody always talks about like Remedy and Doctor Strange, right? Like that's kind of in your head. Like you can just imagine they're made for each other. This is another one. When you think of a studio and you think of a game franchise, I don't know if you can think of many that are better suited for each other than James Bond and IO Interactive. So for me, that's the biggest thing that gets me excited. Now, they could lose my trust. I mean, if it's terrible, right? But right now, I feel very confident that they can pull it off. So we'll see when we see it, but it's good to hear all of these things that we learned today. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.